Again, to ask a question, press star 1. Our first question comes from Wendell Barnhouse of Big12Sports.com.
And I think I heard you read a quote me saying that, the stuff that people, guys like me look at, the numbers, the stats, the completions, not particularly what you look at as far as a quarterback. What did you see out of Ford along those lines that pleased you with how he played Saturday?
Well, the completion percentage and yards per play and total yards, it's something we look at. But I was referencing to his first day out there. I mean, there were some other things that I was a little bit more interested in other than that. Just as far as what his poise was, how he was handling things, what his demeanor was on the sidelines, what his communication was, and then obviously in game, what his communication was with the guys in the huddle or on the line of scrimmage, as far as getting people into the right play and all that. And I thought he did good. I thought his demeanor was good. He didn't get rattled. We didn't do a great job on some of our protection stuff, some of those issues we had with protections, him getting hit. I was actually kind of encouraged with him getting hit like that, just based on seeing how he had handled it. So he stood in there, didn't rattle him, got right back up and went back to work. So his demeanor was good. His poise was good. He's got to pick up his sense of urgency. He's got to play faster. He's got to work faster and all that. But that's stuff that we will obviously work on, and he will get better with reps.
That was obviously a pretty good debut for a redshirt freshman. The challenge, I guess, now is trying to do that on a consistent basis. Is that one of the biggest things for any quarterback at any level, is to just, try to rinse and repeat each week, so to speak?
Yeah, consistency and improvement. He's got a long ways to go. He hasn't played a whole lot of football. He played 2 years of high school football. He played, this was his first game in college he's ever played, so he's relatively raw at the quarterback position. Got a lot of things that he's got to work on. He's got to keep improving, each game. I mean, the stage is obviously going to be bigger this week and in games to come in the Big 12. And I fully expect him, just based on what I've seen, I expect his demeanor to be consistent. I expect his productivity to improve.
Thanks, Dana. Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
Our next question comes from Ed Owens of the Dominion Post.
Hey, Dan, just to follow up on Ford there. One of the other things was communication. How did that go, being able to look back on it now, and were you happy with what you saw out of him, and what are you guys, between you and Ford, looking to improve heading into this week?
Yeah, I thought the communication was fine. And again, the bigger the stage, the harder that's going to be able to make sure everything's on par for what we're asking him to do. But he's just got to, he's got to improve. I mean, everything he's got to improve. His footwork's got to improve. His accuracy's got to improve. He probably threw 4 or 5 balls that I thought were pretty easy to complete, and he didn't get that done. His continuity with the receivers, his timing with the receivers, the relationship that needs to build between him and those guys just is going to take time. I mean, they're not going to be like vets from game one. They need to play a bunch. They need to practice a bunch. They need to take advantage of every opportunity that exists throughout the week, and then each and every game there needs to be improvement when it comes to that as well.
And for heading into Maryland this week, they lost another starting cornerback. How does that affect what you guys are doing and your mentality heading this week against the secondary that's obviously weakened for them?
Yeah, they've taken some hits at corner, but we took hits at receiver last year. So I view their situation at corner as the same situation that we're dealing with at receiver. They lost a couple of pretty good players at corner. And I know that hurt them, but that's just the game of football. I mean, I've talked about this a bunch. I mean, you got to be able to have quality depth. You got to have guys that understand what their role is, and when their number's called, they got to jump in there and they got to play. So, much like Pat Ager did here this past year. I mean, this past week, he jumped in there and he did a good job. So, it's just the nature of college football. You got to be ready. When your number's called, you got to jump in there and play well. Maryland's got good depth. They're well coached. They got a bunch of good athletes. So the next guys that are going to jump in there, we expect them to be quality players as well.
All right, thanks.
Our next question comes from David Ubben of Fox Sports Southwest.
Dana, what's the biggest thing that Charles Sims has brought to this team so far?
He's just consistency. He's played in a bunch of games. He's got great experience. He's a well-rounded player. I mean, he's been good for a lot of our inexperienced young backs. He's new to the West Virginia program, but he's not new to college football. So he adjusted really well just because of his familiarity with me and the offense that's in place, obviously, and just a real consistent kid, just a hard worker, tremendous worker in practice, and a lot of these young guys are looking towards him and saying, that's how he does it, so that's the way I need to do it as well. So he's been great for a bunch of our young backs.
What do you see for him numbers-wise by the end of the year?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're going to keep trying to get him in position to be able to make as many plays as we possibly can. I mean, he's doing a good job with of running the ball. We got to get him going in the pass game a little bit. Haven't had the opportunity to dump it down to him in the flats and get some screens to him and stuff. He's extremely capable of doing a lot of that. We got a bunch of good backs too. I mean, Dreamus keeps playing well. Wendell Smallwood's a talented guy. Dustin's got. He's got potential to be an every down back as well. So, his production is going to be high if we give it to him all the time, but we don't want to wear him out. It's a long season. We got to make sure that we get him, we keep him healthy and we keep him ready to go each and every week.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Our next question comes from Tim Griffin of San Antonio Express News.
Hey, Dana, I wonder if you could speak to the importance of playing over in Baltimore and getting a chance to play against an old rival like Maryland this weekend.
Yeah, it's something that's important to our administration. I know Oliver is in constant talks with, a lot of our former rivals. We just got the series with Virginia Tech back up and going. There's talks with Penn State. There's talks with Pitt. There's talks with Virginia. But no, Maryland's been on the books for a long time. I mean, it's somebody that we've played a long time and will continue. I know they're on the schedule for the next several years as well. Maryland is a huge recruiting base for us. It's an important game for our fans. It's an important game for them and their fans as well. So it's always big in recruiting. It's something our guys are going to be fired up about playing when. We didn't have to motivate them much yesterday when we went back to work. Last week was a work in progress when it came to getting our guys motivated to play, but this week all that will take care of itself.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Todd Lebo of Sports Radio 810.
Hey, Coach, you guys have had 3 wildly different games, really, I guess, and you played, multiple quarterbacks and lots of different things happen. I figure you probably thought it would be a little bit rocky transitioning from having a guy like Geno Smith as your quarterback. Do you have any idea kind of what your team is yet after these first 3 weeks? I know you've probably learned a lot, but you know what you are yet?
Not really. Defensively, I knew we were going to be ahead of where we are offensively and very pleased with the production that they've put out on the field there. They've continued to get better each and every week, and Maryland brings a different test to us because they got 2 wideouts that are just probably as good as anybody in the country. But, that'd be a good test for us defensively. But we knew we'd be ahead of the game defensively. Keith Patterson's doing a great job for us on that side of the ball and look for them to continue to improve. Special teams have been a pleasant surprise. A little bit inconsistent, but that consistency will come when we have guys in those places that have more experience. And then offensively, we knew we were young. We knew we were replacing a lot of guys. I think Ford's going to have a chance to kind of settle the unknown at quarterback, and we'll go with him and try to continue to get better each and every week with him. And then the continuity between him and the rest of the guys on the offense is something that I really think that we were missing. I mean, we were not good at Oklahoma. Got some yards, but didn't do a very good job of finishing drives or making big plays. And the more those guys are in that situation, the better they'll be. I fully expect us to continue to get better each and every week. What the end result's going to be is something that I really just don't know at this point.